So you just received your DPK or Doublepoint Kit unit. Congratulations. Let's do a quick walkthrough on what this unit includes and some few things you should know about it. So first off, right at the bottom here, you have a USB-C port through which you can charge this DPK unit. There's also a display here that captures some important critical information and two buttons by which you can navigate the menus on here, the left button and the right button. We'll go through menu navigation shortly, but just to get you accustomed, there's also a PPG or heart rate sensor on the bottom and IMUs on board. And what we use here are actually off-the-shelf 22mm straps. So while these may come with fabric or rubber straps for you, you can always swap them out with the standard spring bar straps that can be purchased online. All right, let's talk about the menu and some of the key items on the screen here. So when your DPK is charged up and on, you will notice that there are a few things on the screen to take note of. Up top on the left, you will see your unique serial ID for this Doublepoint Kit unit. And then you will see the mode in which this device is in. We'll talk about modes in shortly, but here this is in mouse mode. And then up top here, you will also see the hand to which this is currently set for. So it's important to note that you can always select the left hand or right hand, and our models are able to differentiate. So it's for the best performance, it's ideal that you select the handedness here through the menus, which we'll talk about shortly. This is currently configured to run on the right hand. And here you will see a battery indicator. This device is currently charging and just been plugged in. So we have 0%, but it's currently charging. And then over here, you'll also see the on-screen visualizer. We'll talk about this shortly, but right now it is not detecting any events. All right, let's talk about opening up the menus on DPK. At any point, if you want to access the menus, it's important that you press the left and right buttons simultaneously. By doing so, you will now be greeted by this menu. Now, you will have some options on the left here, and you can scroll through these at any point using the left button. So we can scroll through here, and you would always use the right button for selection operations. So let's talk about some of these. First off, you have your model. So now this is the algorithm that we're running on board right now. If you want to go in here, you just simply select the right button to open. And now you're greeted with a few options on the left. You can scroll through these and then select the model of your choice. For here, for the purpose of this demonstration, let's go ahead and select model tab 6. When you hit select on the right, this will take a few seconds to load up the model, and now it is loaded and ready to infer. Now you can go back into the menu by hitting the left and right button together. You can scroll down to adjust handedness. So we talked about how important it is to make sure that it's currently configured for the right hand or the left hand. And here you can do so by scrolling through. If you want to wear this on your left hand, simply scroll down, and to select, again, it is left and right together. You'll notice that now it has switched from left to right. Now you can also, besides the model and the handedness, you can also adjust the BL mode or the Bluetooth mode. We have a few options here. So there's mouse mode, which allows you to connect the DPK to a peripheral via Bluetooth and use this as a mouse. You can also select SDK mode, and this interacts with our SDKs that are available. So we have a Python SDK, a JavaScript SDK, and a Unity SDK that you can connect this device to. In mouse mode, you can go ahead and hit open. And there's also the shake option. So by selecting this, you can dictate what the device does when you shake your wrists while DPK is on. You can either have it ignore and do nothing, or go into standby mode. So let's go ahead and select this. I'm going to double click. And now, anytime I shake the device, it should go into standby mode when it's on my wrist. Now, another way to access standby mode is actually by, when you're on the main screen, hitting the left button at any point. By doing so, you go into standby mode, which is a low power mode. It pauses all Bluetooth connections, and it is in a sort of low power state. So you can access this at any point by hitting the left button on the main screen, and you can jump out of it by hitting the left button again. If we go back into the menu, we've talked about the model, we've talked about hand, Bluetooth modes, mouse mode, shake, and then you can always power off the device by clicking this. Now, if you ever run into any issues and you'd like to contact us, it's important to let us know what firmware you're running. So if you go down to firmware, you will easily be able to see what firmware this device is running. And when you reach out to us through our support channels, it's important to reference this firmware model so that we can quickly troubleshoot and triage any issues. And at any point, you can go back by hitting OK here, or hitting both the left and right button together. Let's talk about mouse mode. This is a newish feature that we've just launched. So if you go into the settings by hitting left and right, and then scroll down to mouse mode, go ahead and select open, select using the right button. You now have a few options here. So what this allows you to do is configure what tap does on the mouse. So you can either select tap, so we can scroll through on the left side here. So let's select tap here, and then we can choose whether the tap event translates to a left click or a right click, or a middle click, or even enter or space, backspace, or standby, and even speed. So there are lots of customization and flexibility here. You can also go down on the left and choose tap up, which means your hand is now palm facing up and a tap event. And that can be transcribed to another event. So for example, you could have tap selected, tap configured to a left click, and tap up configured to a right click. So lots of options here for you to mess around with. When you select button, this actually corresponds to the right button. So you can configure tap to an event, palm up and tap to an event, and the right button to another event. And you can select middle click, enter, space, or any of these options. All right, now that we've loaded up a model, I've got the tap model running here and configured it to my right hand. You'll notice that every time I tap my fingers, you'll notice that the inference visualizer shows you these tap events being detected. Now, if you have this in mouse mode, these will translate to click events. And if you've selected SDK mode, you will have these events transferred to the SDK of choice. So here you can see these being successfully detected. And these white bars are indicative of a positive inference. You'll also see the magnitude of the event here, and these are a few things you can play around with while using DPK. We've now loaded up a pinch model on this Doublepoint Kit unit. Now, when I go ahead and pinch my index and thumb, you'll notice that these events are now being detected. Again, all of this is noted on the inference visualizer, and you should be able to easily recognize what the device is doing and how it's working. Now, at this point, we've covered a few things: a basic overview of the hardware, how to charge it, how to connect it with various devices, how to traverse the menu, and how to select models and test them yourself. If you ever run into any issues, please don't hesitate to contact support@doublepoint.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with the remedy. Also, when reaching out to support@doublepoint.com, please include your current firmware version and the models you are running to help us triage and troubleshoot faster.